Welcome to this edition of On Deck with Mercury. I'm Vienna Town Manager, Mercury Payton, and this budget season here in the town of Vienna. And for the first time in many years, there's a new director at the leadership of the finance department, and that's Stephen Barlow. Hi, Stephen. How are you?
Good. Very, very happy to be here. Very excited. Thanks for having me.
Fantastic. So today's program is being recorded at Qamaria. So I understand this is one of your favorite places to come visit and frequent?
It is. There's obviously a lot of great coffee shops in Vienna, but this one really stands out. It's also close to town hall, so love coming over here in the mornings, getting a coffee, a latte. Definitely one of my favorites.
Well, that's saying a lot because there are quite a few coffee spots in Vienna, so if this is up there, then that must be saying something. So the finance director title has been yours for a few weeks, a short period of time, but you've been here with the town a little longer than that. So for those who don't know about your background in Vienna and a little bit beyond Vienna, maybe tell a little bit about like where you came from before Vienna and then your role before being director.
Yeah, I grew up in Fredericksburg, Virginia, so not too far from Vienna. Went to the University of Mary Washington, graduated with a degree in business administration and accounting. After that, I started working throughout the state of Virginia doing local audits for localities, including the town of Vienna at one point. Oh. And then after that, moved into the federal space, did some federal audits on defense contracts, and then I've been with the town of Vienna for the last year and a half as the deputy director of finance, and now I'm in the director role and really excited about it.
Well, I'm excited for you as well. As deputy, what were some of your primary responsibilities, and then tell us a little bit about your goals for the future as director?
Yeah, as the deputy, my primary goal was ensuring we had a smooth annual audit, working with the auditors from start to finish, getting all their requests in, and making sure we get that award for the annual comprehensive report. Other than that, making sure employees are paid timely, vendors are paid on time, making sure our books are in order, reconciled. Really a strong focus on technical accounting. Goals for the future, really looking forward to improving our online billing system. We just recently implemented a resident access where residents can pay their real estate, their business license renewals online and with a credit card, which is a really great thing for the town of Vienna. Also looking forward to just improving the town website, making things more transparent and easy to access.
That's a short list. There's a lot there that you're doing. It's fantastic. Now that the budget season is already kind of shaping up in fiscal year 2026, tell us a little bit about what you see in the budget. How's it looking at this point?
Budget's looking good. We started this budget season in the fall. Our department heads started with their new initiatives and gave those to the budget committee, and we just recently had a work session with council in December to discuss those new budget initiatives. We like to give them an early insight to how department heads are thinking, and and then we asked them to rank those new initiatives. This will give budget committee and finance kind of some insights into where council's thinking by the time the real estate assessments come out in the end of February. At that point, we'll have an idea of what can fit into the new budget from a new budget initiative standpoint. We'll send the proposed budget to council in early March, and then we'll have work sessions in March to work through it all. So it's shaping up pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting stuff. And so we have a budget committee. As for those who don't know, the finance director is the chair of that, so that's your role now. Then we have the public works director, who's a permanent member, human resources director, permanent member, and then we rotate on two different directors. I think it's the director of planning and zoning is for his second
He's
term.
on it currently.
Yeah, for a 2-year term.
Police chief is on it
police
currently.
Chief, yes. And so I think the police chief is going to be on continue the next year, but I think the planning zoning director is going to roll off this next year, and I'll select somebody else. They serve 2-year terms, and that kind of helps all the directors to kind of see the full development of the budget, have a hand in it, but only do it for 2 years because it can be a little exhausting and roll off of that.
Right, it is a lot.
Yeah, and then we also have the work sessions. So tell us a little bit about how you see the work sessions unfolding for us.
The work sessions are going good. So we had our first one in December for the new budget initiatives. We just recently had one last night as well, a second discussion, where the mayor and council members could just talk about these new budget requests and just kind of give their opinions and their thoughts on what they really feel is important and what should be implemented in the new budget. So the work sessions are going well. Really looking forward to these real estate assessment numbers coming out and getting an idea of what we can fit in.
Right.
So looking forward to that. Looking forward to the work sessions in March, and then we'll have the public hearings in April. And then at that point, we'll adopt the budget and the tax rates in May.
Sure, absolutely. This is exciting stuff to me. I know that some people may be like, all these numbers and things, but all of these factors make up what we do in the town. So when you see a police car driving by, or you see, like this past weekend, working on a water main break,
right.
All those things happen because of this budget process. Right. That's why I think I get so excited.
Yeah, it is exciting.
It's exciting. To me, it is. And I guess it's boring when you're doing it right and it's kind of behind the scenes.
Yeah.
As we say, like page 17,
right.
On the back page,
right.
If everything's in proper order.
So this stuff is definitely the exciting stuff.
It is exciting.
The initiatives and the council sessions and working through it. But we are doing the behind the scenes work right now too, where if you've seen the budget book, it's quite large, and so we're updating all the words in it, which we call the non-financials. We're updating financials as well, which is generally 3 to 5% increases for inflation type or contract increases. So we're doing all the behind the scenes stuff now, but the budget initiatives and the work sessions are really the exciting stuff.
Absolutely. And so I guess we have some priorities that ultimately will depend on a lot of factors that kind of make up the budget itself. I mean, like there's economic indicators that you probably look at, and maybe unemployment rates and real estate assessments and all kind of other factors. So what are some trends that you kind of hone in on to kind of help build the budget to make
Definitely. Well, we live in a really, really great area for residential real estate. It's one of the strongest in the nation. We're still expecting the residential real estate assessments to come in strong. We're not as strong as they have been over the last few years, just because there was record levels of increases in home prices. But we are expecting it still to be within the 3 to 5% range for residential real estate. And as you know, like commercial real estate has been struggling nationally as well. But Vienna's actually been doing really well from a commercial real estate standpoint, kind of weathering the storm. We have a very strong commercial district. We have a low vacancy rate, and that's been really helping our commercial real estate assessments as well.
Right, absolutely. So when you say it's strong is a good thing, because we don't want it to be like, weak where values are dropping, but we don't want to be so strong where people see their tax bills go way through the roof. So strong is kind of like middle. No,
I'd say it's a great thing for everyone. I mean, you're seeing your assessments go up. Your taxes aren't going up too significantly. I mean, we've kept the tax rate flat or reduced it over the last number of years. So I feel like we're in a really great position at the town. Sure,
absolutely. And we have a few different funding sources to pay for daily operations, and then also capital improvement. So maybe talk a little bit about where does the money come from and how do we...
Yeah, so our daily operations or our general fund is funded mostly by real estate taxes. We also have some other revenue sources like state sales tax, business license taxes, animal license taxes, bank franchise taxes. But the significant portion of our day-to-day operations is funded by real estate. As far as our capital, the streets that you see, large-scale building projects, large-scale parks and rec projects, that's our capital improvement fund, and that's funded by meals taxes.
Right.
So two separate things. One is our day-to-day operations. One's more of our large-scale assets. Design and construction, and that's funded by the meals tax.
Sure, and we've had a meals tax in place for some time. We had a meals tax at 3%. It's been at 3% since 2008. And that 3% meals tax has funded community center renovation,
Town Green, the police station. There's been a significant amount of investment in the town with the 3% meals tax rate, so it's been wildly successful. It's been a really great thing for the town, and it also really, I think, helps our finances by keeping things separate. Real estate and some other sources fund our day-to-day, and then we have this dedicated source of revenue to fund our capital improvements. So generally, meals taxes, they go up 3 to pretty normal over time. It keeps our capital plan focused.
Sure.
So it's a really good thing.
It is. And so you stepped into the director role at a time when the council is considering a major capital project for that old annex property on Center Street. A lot of interest and discussion about what to do with that property there, and it's been proposed to consider an aquatics and fitness center. I think that came out of some studies that the town's done, and went to the residents to see what they would like to see, and many of them have said that aquatics and the fitness center is what they want to see there. So I know your staff's been looking into the question of about long-term costs and cost recovery. Long-term costs being operational day-to-day. So the capital cost would be from the meals tax. That's a one-time. You build it, bricks and mortar. Okay, it's there.
Yep.
Talk a little bit about the cost recovery and the ongoing operations, what that would look like.
Yeah, so we've been working with our consultant. We had a work session. Actually, it was a council meeting in December as well, and council submitted a number of questions to staff, to Director of Parks and Rec Leslie and Finance, and we've been working with the consultant to address all of council's questions. And we're going to discuss the answers to all these questions at the January 21st work session. The consultant will be present as well. But the consultant presented revenue figures, expense figures. Town staff also looked at it and maybe scaled back some of the cost recovery numbers as well. But either way we break it down, that we're confident that we can cover the operating subsidy.
Sure.
We're going to address those questions and concerns at the January 21st work session, but any way you really break it down, we're very confident that we can address the operating subsidy.
And that's kind of comforting to know. I mean, if the cost recovery, when we say cost recovery, what we're saying is that there's an expense side of the equation, and things cost what they cost. So that's the staffing and all the equipment and materials and all those kind of things. So you got that. That's the ongoing cost. Cost recovery being, well, how much revenue do we generate by people coming and using it? And so we've heard cost recovery amounts as high as maybe 85%, which would be a very strong number. But we've also looked at the possibility that, well, what if that number is high? What if it's maybe around 30% or so, like the national average? We know that our community is not the national average, but just to say the national average is 30%, we run numbers to demonstrate that we can support this operation year over year with our existing tax rate, real estate tax rate, which is separate from our mills tax. But our real estate tax rate that supports the operation day to day, we can, have a budget that would be able to sustain it, whether it's a 30% cost recovery or 85% cost recovery, which I think is, from our standpoint, makes it a non-emotional thing for us, or we don't have concern like, if you build this, we won't be able to fund it on a year over year.
Yes, no, that's exactly right. So we're prepared, and it does require some planning. So, if council decides to move forward with this thing, we have 5 years to plan the operating side of things. So, the idea is that we would start saving a little bit each year. And then by the time we hit that 5th year when operations open, we would have enough built into the budget to run the operation without having to raise taxes, without, really having any issues with the operating subsidy.
Sure. That's fantastic. And the council is exploring the implementation of a temporary 1% mills tax rate. That's that's the capital. That's the building of the facility itself. And that's for the design and construction of it. What role does your department play in that part of it if this passes?
So we would definitely be working heavily with public information and Parks and Rec, and making sure, and economic development, to make sure that the information gets out there, that restaurant owners, businesses are aware that, hey, a meals tax increase is in effect. It's starting on this date. We would be sending out emails, notifications on the website, social media. But in the finance department, we would be focused on the billing, the collection, and also making sure that these funds are earmarked for the purpose that we say they are. So our job would be then to focus that this 1% temporary increase would go directly towards the design and construction of the annex. So that's really our department's role with it. But but we would be working closely with the businesses to make sure that they're up to speed and that they have ample time to, because they're going to have to upgrade their systems as well.
Right.
So it is a big push, but we would do everything to help.
Sure, absolutely. So we have a work session on January 21st. That's next Tuesday, not Monday, but on Tuesday.
Tuesday.
So Monday offices are closed because of King holiday. And then on Tuesday, we have a work session on this topic alone. So people should come out and listen to that conversation. Residents won't be able to speak there, but they'll be able to listen to the conversation there. Right. And then on January 27th, there'll be a regular meeting at Town Hall where they might take a vote and decide to raise the meals tax by 1% for a 10-year period. They don't have to, though. I mean, they could decide to defer that discussion. They already deferred it once, so I think we had December. They deferred it to January 27th. So depending on how January 21st goes, probably tell us how January 27th goes.
I think so, yeah. I think January 21st will be a great informative session for the 27th council session or council meeting. Yeah. And based on what council decides, finance will be ready to move in whichever way they choose.
You picked a fantastic time to be the new director. I mean, you come in and
it's an exciting time.
You walk right into the budget season discussion, right into the whole question of aquatics and fitness center, among other things. Right. So we're excited about what you're bringing to the table here. Is there any last things you want to mention?
No, just love working with you. Love working at the town of Vienna. It's a great place. It's a really, really great community. I'm extremely excited to be the director of finance. Just really looking forward to this year, having a great budget year, working with council and you on the annex and aquatics, and we just wrapped up ARPA. That was a great success for the town. We received a lot of federal money in ARPA, and we just got all of that allocated by the December 31st deadline. We've been working, with our Public Works Department with the Mod Robinson grant.
Sidewalks, yeah.
Tons of new sidewalks, just a great project, and we were able to spend all of that and meet the deadlines there. So just a lot of exciting stuff happening, and it's going to be a great year. So.
Well, good. Well, thanks for all that you've done so far, and I look forward to working with you even closer as our director. And I hope the rest of this budget season is very exciting and not exciting for you. Both. Exciting for us, but not exciting in the grand
exciting in a good way.
Right, absolutely. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And thank you for tuning in to this edition of On Deck with Mercury. We hope that everyone enjoys the snow and the weather outside, and we look forward to catching up with you next time with On Deck with Mercury. Thank you.